And welcome to today's lesson. Today we are looking at opsomming, which, believe it or not, is my favorite thing to do. It's also my favorite thing to mark because I just think that everything that you need to do opsomming or summary is already on the paper. You don't have to study it, you don't have to remember anything. And I feel like I keep repeating that throughout the whole lesson, but let's get into it because this is going to be good. All right. So, one thing to understand about summary and or opsomming is that I feel like someone sat down and was like, how can I give this person free marks? Because wow, um, begripslees, comprehension, is killing them. So how can I divert more marks to be available to them? All they need to do is just follow the instruction and they would get all the marks that they need. That's how I feel like summary came about because honestly, apart from it helping people who want to be journalists, I don't get how like people need to be doing it. But what I love about it is that it has a clear step-by-step method on how you can secure your 9 out of 10 or your 10 out of 10 each and every time. So when I teach someone summary or opsomming, they have to get 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. The 9, I'm just putting it there just to be a nice person, but maybe 8, but 8 is for like someone who's stubborn who really does want to listen, but they would have understood, they would have comprehended. Okay, so let's get started. So, like I said, it's not something that you need to work out in the test. It's not something that you need to remember, that you have to memorize and repeat and rinse and repeat. It's not something that you have to calculate. It's not something that you have to figure out. This is free. It's like freedom, 27th of April. Okay, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling about that. All right. So the reason why I'm saying that it's free is because the answers are already there. And I'm gonna show exactly what I mean by that so that next time you look at it, you just like filled with like happiness in your heart because you want to start with it. That's what I used to do when I was writing my grade 10 to grade 12. I started with it because I knew I could knock it out in less than like 15 minutes. I aimed for like 12 minutes. Then I have like 3 minutes extra to do something else, like read another question properly. All right. So the secret is to keep the rubric in mind. And I'm going to show you the rubric way later on, but I want you to see that as we do it, I'm going to be teaching you how to do it with the rubric in mind, but only show you the rubric later on. Okay, and I explained that it guides you, and here this is the most important part. The marker, the person marking your paper, has no choice but to follow it. So even if you wrote rubbish, and even if you wrote weird stuff, the person, your teacher, the person marking it, has no other choice but to follow it. All right, here are my tips. Tip number one, always follow the instructions. The instructions is like half the battle won because if they ask you to do it in paragraph form and you do it one by one, or they ask you to do it in like number the things that you need to list and you do it in paragraph. I mean, really, if you miss that part of the instructions, you are toast, no matter how you practiced it. So then the time. What I mean by this is you must kind of already figure out how many words you can kind of write in like a decent looking sentence because by the time you're counting the words, you need to basically count them based on an estimate. And I'll show you this later. And the most important thing is that you have to start with a verb. Now, if you don't get an opportunity to start with a verb, first see what they want from you. In most cases, they ask you for tips, they ask you should and shouldn'ts, moet and moenies. So if that's the case, you can always start with jy moet this and this and this, jy moet this and this and that. The only issue is that every time you say jy moet, you are repeating it, therefore wasting, you're burning through the number of words that you can use. And then it also says only write down the main idea. all the extra details that they're giving you is just like extra sauce. You can use it to maybe make your sentence interesting, but that's all you're doing, just making your sentence interesting. You're not exactly winning marks with it. So I got this from a past paper for grade nines. So this is what we're going to be using. So this is the instruction part that I told you about, the most important part of this whole thing. And again, because the questions roughly stay the same, there are certain words that you need to already know what they are. For example, lees die text. You need to know that that means read the text, okay? Maybe you can struggle with what this means. Plekke, you need to know that plek is a place. Rondom, if you don't know that, that's fine. Port Elizabeth, I mean, that's pretty clear. Wat besoek kan word. So the only trouble you might have as an English student is that you might not know what besoek means. But we already have plekke, places, Port Elizabeth, okay? Aandagtig deur, that means read it properly through. Maak 'n opsomming wat gebruik kan word as 'n toerplan. Toerplan can also throw you off, and as you'll see, it was a large part of the summary, but it's fine. Om aan toeriste. Everyone should know by now what a toerist is, especially if you are in a semi-Afrikaans school, because tourism is toerisme. So that should give you an idea. Jy moet duidelik beskryf. Beskryf means describe. Wat 'n toerist. Toerist sounds like tourist or tourism. By elke plek kan doen. Plek, place, kan doen, can do. Verwag, it means expect, but if you don't know it, you don't need it for this to make sense. Okay, instructies, jou opsomming moet 60 woorde wees. Here's the part that always is there. So this is the part that you must always know what it means. Jou opsomming moet 60 woorde lank wees, meaning it must be 60 and less words. Skryf vol sinne, meaning there must be a capital letter and a full stop. En nommer jou aktiwiteite. Already it's giving you more of a clue. Like, so if you didn't know what besoek meant, aktiwiteite will tell you that, oh, it's about activities, okay, that you can do where? In Port Elizabeth, or places in Port Elizabeth. Do you see? So all you have to do is just keep reading and not be super distraught if there's a word you don't understand, because chances are high that the other words are gonna kind of help you along. And it says nommer. So because it doesn't say paragraaf, that means that you must number your activities 1 to 7. Tel jou woorde, you must now by now know that tel jou woorde means count your words. And plaas dit, this is plaas as in place, not plaas as in farm. That's a really nice homonym. Homonym. Plaas dit in hakkies. This hakkies part is also very important because every time you practice, it's there. Gebruik die aanhangsel. I think that means attachment. Wat agter in die vraestel voorkom, that is at the back of the paper. Skeur die bladsy af, tear the page off en kram dit aan jou antwoordeboek. That just means that you must staple it on your answer sheet. Okay, now is the part that most people struggle with, but it's okay. So as you can see at the top, it says interessante plekke, interesting places around Port Elizabeth om te besoek, to visit. Okay, daar waar 3 hoofpaaie bymekaar kom, sal jy die moeder van alle padstalle in die Oos-Kaap vind. Is that an activity that we can do? Heck no. Dis hier by Nanaga, I don't know if it's Nanaga or Nanaga. First place that we are finding, it said we must find places. So this is the first place waar moe reisigers kan bene rek en iets eet vir die reis wat voor lê. Bene rek means rest, okay? So eat, that means eat something. So the first place is Nanaga. What can you do there? You can rest and you can eat. Already that's the first activity. Lynn Lake het die padstal begin. This sounds like a name and a surname. I think. Padstal begin om vars pineappelsap en groente te verkoop. So this person started the stalls, I guess, to sell fresh pineapple juice and greens. And not greens, vegetables. Later het Nanaga se gewilde pastytjies gekom. So they also sold some pastries, gevolg deur die ewig gewilde roosterkoeke. So it just goes into detail about what they sell there. Daar word jaarliks 40,000 pastye verkoop, nothing to do with me. Vir baie is dit 'n plek om te ontbyt. So you can say something like Nanaga is the first place waar jy kan rus en iets eet. Nanaga is 'n plek van padstalle vir ontbyt. That's your first two activities at this one place. The next part, die derde grootste nasionale park, I don't need all of that. Inside Africa, I don't need that either, is die Adu Olifant Park. So that's the second place. Now by Port Elizabeth, not important. Die park het 700 olifante, leeu's, buffels, rhinoceros, luiperd. I don't need to mention any of the animals, maybe one, but yeah, because it is an elephant park, so I can maybe mention elephants. So I can say the next place is Adu Olifant Park, besoek 700, oor die 700 olifante. Okay, toeriste kan op 'n 2-dag safari gaan. That's your next tip. Gaan op 'n 2-dag safari. Dan om hierdie dier te no, nothing to do with me. Die park is langs 'n pragtige Sondagsrivier geleë. That's your other one. Besoek Sondagsrivier. You can mention water sport, but again, not necessary. Next, Sculpey Museum and Jeffreys Bar. So Jeffreys Bar is the next place. So what can you say? Besoek, start with a verb. Sculpey Museum. Dan, plaaslike skulpe kan ook gekoop word. Koop plaaslike skulpe. Dan, elke jaar kan die vaart van die walvisse en die dolfyne. So elke jaar, every year, vaart, if you don't know it, it's fine, van die walvisse en die dolfyne. So you know that that's walrus or whales? Yes, whales. En dolfyne, dolphins, vanaf die koue Antarctica na die warmer water in Jeffreys Bay besigtig word. So basically this just means that whales and dolphins from Antarctica come to Jeffreys Bay because there's warmer water there. Without understanding everything. Dit is tussen Junie en Desember maande. Okay, so it can only be seen during that time. Baie gastehuise en restaurante is so gebou dat toeriste deur die vensters na die walvisse en dolfyne in die see kan kyk. I don't need that. I can just say kyk na walvisse en dolfyne tussen Junie en Desember maande. And even on top of that, it's too long. I can cut out the Desember maande and Junie maande. Okay, next, vir die toerist wat van kultuuraktiwiteite hou, is daar Grahamstown Fees. So my next place is Grahamstown Fees, and I can say that besoek Nasionale Kunstefees gedurende Julie skoolvakansie. Dan, die spooktoer om 12:00 na grafstene in die tuine van die 48 kerke is baie gewild en word jaarliks deur duisende besoek. I can just say besoek spooktoer of gaan op spooktoer na 48 kerke se grafstene. That just means that they go around what's a begrafplaas again? Where people get buried. So it's like a ghost tour that they do at midnight. Yes, it's just something that they offer there as an activity. Done. So more or less, this is what my summary would look like. So the first one, I mentioned all the places that you can visit, and they wanted it to be a toergids. Maak 'n opsomming wat gebruik kan word as 'n toerplan. So I just said toergids is the same. So I mentioned the places where we can go. And then I mentioned the activities that we can do because that was in the instructions. I must make a tour plan and I must describe what a tourist can do at each place or can expect. So I said, toeriste kan rus en ontbyt eet at Nanaga, right? And number 2, hulle kan besoek padstalle. I use the verb. Padstalle looks to be like super important there. Then Adu Olifantspark, I said, besoek nasionale Olifant Park. Sorry, I forgot that word there. Where is it? Nasionale Park. So the park is missing there, sorry. Park met oor 700 olifante. So that would just raise my words with by 1. Gaan op 2-dag safari en kuier by Sondagsrivier. This is even 2 activities in the same line. Number 3, at Jeffreys Bay, besoek Skulpie Museum en koop plaaslike skulpe. Done. Number 6, sien walvisse en dolfyne tussen Junie en Desember. I didn't even have to say tussen Junie en Desember. Sien walvisse en dolfyne, because that's what you do at Jeffreys Bay. Next, Grahamstadsfees, besoek nasionale kunstefees gedurende die Julie skoolvakansie. Okay, so I listed them 1 to 7. I only added this one here to make you see that they always give you more things than what you need, so that if you missed one, you can still make sure that you have 7 things. So the last one is gaan op spooktoer wat 48 kerke se grafstene om 12 uur besoek. Let's say if you missed one or you didn't feel like that padstalle one was important, because sometimes you can think something is important but then you don't get the mark for it. So, and don't do it like me, don't add another valid point. I think that if you think this one is more important, then delete one of the other ones. But if you add more, they'll definitely penalize you. But I know that if you write more words, like maybe 5 more words, they won't penalize you for more words, but I think they'll penalize you for more facts or more activities than what they asked. All right, so this is the memo for this particular one. So you can see that this is more or less the same. I just don't have those 2 things there. And at Nanaga, they said dit is 'n padstal waar reizigers kan rus. I did mention resting, and I also did mention that you can eat there, but not in the detail that they have. Adu Olifantspark, you see they didn't even mention like the Sondagsrivier. They didn't even mention like the other extra details that we had. Let me quickly see. Nasionale Park met 700 olifante. They just said daar's 2-dae safari and you can do water sport. And maybe that would have caused me to not get a mark here, or maybe half a mark. But because you must mention more of the activities than the place, I guess, because the site is the place. And then Jeffreys Bay, die Skulpie Museum kan besoek word. That's a mark, and we also mentioned it. Die walvisse en dolfyne kan besigtig word. That just means you can view them. Done. And then Nasionale Kunstefees bied kultuuraktiwiteite aan. That's something that they are mentioning, what you can expect. And die gewilde spooktoer na grafstene kan gedoen word. So you mentioned that as well. So basically this side you just mentioned all the activities, and that's how you ensure that you get your marks. And then they also indicated number of words, which we also did the same over there and made sure that it's below 16. Okay, now here's the secret on how summaries are marked, because sometimes there are kids who basically copy it word for word. If you feel like you have to do that, do it, but I'll show you where you're gonna lose your marks. So here they talk about fighter. So if you were able to basically write the facts in your own words, you get 7 marks. If you, I think this is the last time when I was doing this, if you also extract them as they are, I think you also get 7 or 6, I'm not sure. But they'll penalize you somehow because you're supposed to use your own words as much as possible. Then here by Dahl, there's 3 marks. So it's more important for you to identify the 7 things that they ask for. That's where you're going to get your marks. And if you start with the verb, because their sentences start with the subject. So if you start with the verb, as far as you can, you would have written the facts in your own words. Okay. So for Dahl, if like they count like how many facts you wrote and they see that you got 1 to 3 correct, you get 1 mark for language, and 4 to 5 facts, you get 2 marks. If you got majority, you see, even if you have 6, you're still gonna get the 3 marks. So even if you missed one, you're still gonna get 9 out of 10. Okay, and then you'll see on your paper they'll write F7 or F6, and then T means stall, you'll get 3, and then you'll get your 10 out of 10. It is that easy because honestly, like I said, all the answers are already there. Okay, let's see. All right, there are some ways that they penalize you, but I think you can ask your own teacher about that. So honestly, if you do all of these things, you are so ready because again, summaries are free marks. Honestly, if someone paid me to keep saying that, I would because that's the truth. Okay. So if you follow it step by step, an 80%, meaning an 8 out of 10, is guaranteed. Plus, and I'm being super modest on 8 out of 10, you can totally get 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, just if you follow it step by step. Again, you don't need to be super great at Afrikaans, but you need to be a figure outerer, if that even exists. Meaning you must be able to scrape like enough clues together to be able for you to put something together. Again, if you extract it like it is, but you start with a verb, they'll consider that being written in your own words. But if you write it word for word for word for word, they'll penalize you by the language. I think you even get 0, but at least you'll get 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. So you can't lose basically. If you've been getting like 3, like less than 6 for summary, this is the way that will help you. But you have to take it seriously. You have to practice. Use at least 3 summaries. Have your teacher mark it. If you want me to mark it, it's fine if I have time. But have your teacher mark it, and then you'll know that you're ready for the test. All right. Thank you so much for watching this. Also, I want to ask a quick favor. Just hold on. I recently found out that literally 95% of people who watch these videos are not subscribed. If you've ever watched a video and you learned something from it, please subscribe because it helps me out with this channel and I want to grow it like exponentially this year. So if you've watched it or you've shared it or someone sent it to you, please, please, please subscribe so that I can take this channel to the next level. I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.